We drink tequila. We talk. Welcome to Team Tequila Talks.
Team Tequila talks off with a cheers, carefully over the equipment. Okay. Salty, creamy, sweet,
A little sweet.
spicy. Okay, this is a very complex cocktail we have.
Delicious.
This is a bougie cocktail, guys.
It is this might be our fanciest one. Guys, welcome to Team Tequila Talks. This episode, we are super excited to have our dear friend, Dr. Thoma-Gustin. That's right, she's an actual doctor.
Doctor of physical therapy. Don't ask me for medical advice if you're sick.
Doctor's doctor. You can be a doctor without being a medical doctor,
Correct.
but you should just go by Dr. LA. In fact, I don't know why we don't call you
Wait,
Dr.
we should.
LA.
I should change in my phone. But also, if someone's on an airplane, like if there's doctor in here, do you just say no?
No, because you know what kind of doctor they're asking for. But I am like CPR certified. You have to have like emergency care skill to work in that field. So you do have to have that level of help somebody if they immediately need your help.
Well, hopefully we won't need any of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Cassandra, Jean, Amell, and Sherionne Gonzalez welcoming you to another episode of Team Tequila Talks. And we have a very fun cocktail today. Tell us about it, Ms.
Yes,
Sherionne.
we just named this. Her name is LA. We're in LA. LA in LA coconut jalapeno margarita. I think it's a vibe.
It's more of a martini, like a tequila martini than a margarita, right?
Okay.
Or I guess is it, we should really we should know the answer to this question, but is a margarita technically when it is a combination of tequila, lime, and something else? Or is it, like what specifically makes it a margarita? And do you get some liberties if you come up with the cocktail? Because to me, this is more reminiscent of like a martini style cocktail than a margarita. It's delicious, but I'm questioning what the technical definition is.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay. I mean, it's in kind of like a a martini glass. But I think anything with tequila and any sort of lime or citrus would be a margarita.
I'm gonna look it
I'm
up.
not well versed enough in martinis, I feel like, to know what falls in the martini category.
Same.
To me, this feels margarita because I know that world more, and this feels familiar to me.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Hold on, I think
And
I'm
I
getting
think-
an answer for us
And
here.
I think because it has a lime that I feel anytime you have a citrus with tequila, I feel like you're in that land. Like if I had this on a menu and I'm like it has coconut, tequila, lime, and I'm like, but it's a martini.
Right.
Okay, well, you know what, Sherry? It turns out you're right. Because a margarita, I cannot believe that it took us this long to look this up. But you know what? This journey, everybody jumps on where they can, right? This Team Tequila journey. So the definition of a margarita is a cocktail made with tequila and citrus fruit juice. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be lime. You could swap out orange, grapefruit, which we do frequently. I mean, that makes a Paloma a margarita.
Ooh.
Technically, if we're getting technical here at Team Tequila Talks.
Which is kind of like what
It's like what's a fruit, what's a vegetable?
Yeah.
If it has a seed, is it a fruit? Isn't that the definition?
Technically, yes. So
It has
tomatoes
seed.
and cucumbers
Exactly.
and avocados.
avocados,
Exactly.
yes.
Guacamole
Yes.
is a fruit salad.
Right, exactly.
I don't like the way that sounds. Actually. That sounds just gross. You want some avocado salad and I put avocado in front of your face? You're like, just say avocado.
Yeah.
Salsa.
So Dr. LA here, and we are going to call you that for the rest of the
here we
podcast.
go.
Yep, here we go.
No, I've connected with it now. Now it makes more sense.
It's it. It's happening. Dr. LA has a website called Dare to Be Active, and it's one of my favorites while traveling because I get all of my 20-minute grab a chair or use a table and get in some kind of lunge where your foot is up or a tricep dip. And obviously some of those things you think, oh yeah, I can do some tricep dips, but to put together a whole routine where you don't have to think about it when you're already traveling, you might not have gym shoes because you're in a hotel room, and that's what Dare to Be Active is all about, is really making no excuse to not be active. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the impression that I get.
I mean, I basically wanted to give people the least amount of barriers to be active. And I feel like being in the physical therapy world and the fitness world, I kind of got a good sense of what the barriers are for people to not just stay with their like their rehab programs, but their fitness programs. And it's just, there's always something that gives you an excuse, not even an excuse, it's just, I mean, they're legitimate excuses to not be able to do something. And the fitness world can be very intimidating. And I feel like that's another big part of it. So I just wanted to have something that people, limited equipment, just something that'd be easy for people to do wherever they are.
New babies at home.
New babies at home, 100%.
That's a tough one when you never know when the nap is going to end.
Oh, yeah. Like, she's napping inside. I'm right outside of her door doing some exercises, like, listening in. Yeah.
But then you have that mommy ear, and you know when they're stirring, and then you're like, hurry up, get it done, get it done.
Yeah, 5 more seconds.
Yes. I think during the pandemic, in the lockdowns in the very beginning, you were one of the only ones posting on Instagram, like, hey, work out with me at 9 a.m. And it was like the best way I could think of to be motivated.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the gym is a big motivator, but then I think the pandemic taught me that I don't really need the gym.
Yep, 100%.
And there's a smart way, and you break down your exercises. And she's also a doctor, which there's a lot of Instagram fit people who are not personal trainers. They're not certified, but they're out there teaching you and showing you how to work out without any real knowledge of human anatomy.
Yeah, I feel like those people are great for getting workout inspiration, like cool, exercises or routines. But if you know how to do the exercise already, if you're learning, you don't really know what you're doing, follow fitness professionals who can also be a little intimidating too, to follow them, because they're like, if you don't do it this way, you're doing it wrong. And so I feel like there's always, on both ends, sometimes tough people to follow. So I don't know, it's hard, social media, there's so many people now to like, how do you know who's who and what's a good,
and social media is a glimpse of life, but it's not all real life.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before, about how some people have some criticism or criticize people for using Instagram filters, and it's like, hello, it's Instagram.
Right.
It comes with filters so you can have fun and express yourself and do fun things to your photos.
Right.
It's a creative expression. It's your own form of art. It's an easy form of art.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to do what you want with your page, but that doesn't mean that it translates to real life.
Right. As long as you're not promoting, this is what my skin looks like, and I'm promoting this skincare product, and then you have filter on, then that's...
#no makeup.
Yeah.
Well, there was
is that still a thing?
Yeah, there was a scandal. I think it was right after everything opened up, and there was like a big face girl in LA, and I'm forgetting her name, but she's all the creams and this, and someone snapped a photo of her like at like Whole Foods or something, and she had, her skin did not, and I have never heard of her. I went on her page, and she must have been photoshopping, and someone snapped it, and it went viral. Then her lawyers took it down because of all, and that's why I say it's better if you're that kind of page to just say it.
Yeah, 100%.
And say, I love filters, I love photoshopping, it's fun, it's art to me, and then just take it from there rather than like have something that's like totally false.
Yeah.
Check out Dare to Be Active. We were super excited because Sherry and I are big workout enthusiasts.
I was going to say, this is my workout crew in Vancouver.
We had many Vancouver workouts.
This is kind of where it started in Vancouver. We would work out every week. We're like, where are we going? Where are we working out today? Yeah.
And then a lot of times happy hour after, which brought us to this wonderful concoction that we made today. We said, LA, what do you want for a little happy hour podcast? And LA likes spicy.
Oh, yeah. Give me all the spices.
But with a little bit of sweet to balance it out. So we've got this coconut, lime juice, jalapenos, and beautiful edible flowers from my garden.
It's from your garden?
It's from my garden.
Wow,
and they are edible. They kind of they're very pretty. They don't really taste like much. They have a very, very neutral taste. These are, you've probably seen them on salads and stuff in restaurants or in spring rolls or whatever. It is exactly that flour. I don't actually know what it's called. I just know it won't kill you if you eat it.
Good to know.
Well, that's always a plus. And it has some coconut milk and some Cointreau.
I say Contro. I think the I is silent.
Oh, so it's Contro.
Do we need to look up this too? Rick, holy smokes.
Hey, can I talk about my list of Sherry words that I used to keep?
She's got a good one.
I used to have a list of things that Sherry would say completely so differently than I would have ever thought to say it. And I started keeping a list. I can't even remember. I have to find it.
Well, just the other week we were like, turmeric or turmeric? We
had to look up that as well.
We did. The way I hear words is not like you would think I spoke like 4 languages and that I'm in between a language, but nope, just speak English.
Nope, she knows hola,
Yep, that's it.
The basics. The whole point of the Team Tequila Talks podcast is that you can jump in on your journey. We don't purport to be experts. I mean, we're tequiliers.
We're
I was
tequiliers.
gonna say, you guys
But
know
we
way
don't
more
purport to
about
be,
this.
experts about everything. Yeah. And like I always love to say, please don't take our medical advice if we ever say anything about it.
Disclaimer.
This is our disclaimer. Don't take our medical advice. Do your own research. Yeah. But we like to share what we have discovered on our tequila journey with other people, and then you can take what you may, and go from there. So okay, here we go. I got it. Ready? Contro. Nailed it!
Contro.
It is contro.
It's contro. What did you say at first?
Cointro.
In fairness, there is an I in there, and I's usually aren't that silent.
Cointro.
Yes.
All right, fine. Contro.
Okay, now we
So
know.
let's get into why LA is a fitness expert, not just an enthusiast, but an actual expert and professional. And LA was asking for spicy, but also some form of recovery margarita. And the thing that struck me the most about this particular cocktail, you forget how rich in coconut milk, how many nutrients and electrolytes it's really high in manganese, which is good for a lot of things. For those of you who don't know, there's coconut water and there's coconut milk. Coconut water is the liquid that comes when you bang a coconut open. When you shake a coconut and you hear the liquid, that's what coconut water is. Also high in electrolytes, also great. Coconut milk is when you take the meat of the coconut and you ostensibly puree it and kind of filter out the pulp sometimes. I'm sure that if you get super fresh coconut milk, I know that when I'm in the tropics or the Caribbean or Hawaii, you can ask for fresh coconut milk, and that's really thick. I love pulp. I know not everybody does.
I do, and it's 50% water, so they usually mix. Coconut milk is usually 50% water and the meat of it, and it's kind of mixed. That's why sometimes you have to shake up the can if you get it. You have to shake it up and blend.
The fat separates.
Yep, the
That's
fat
correct.
separates.
So the fat's always going to come to the top and solidify. So you're going to want to break that through. We did use canned coconut milk, the same kind that you would use for baking. Also similar to like a pina colada, but there are only 2 ingredients in this can. I actually still have the can here.
Yep.
So this is just organic coconut milk, ethically sourced. And this is the standard. So this is not going to be light. It's also not going to be the solid, heavy cream. This is just sort of your in the middle standard coconut milk. And it has 2 ingredients, water and organic coconut.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. So
That's the best
we
kind.
like to keep it super simple. We always say check the labels. We want to make sure that you're not having a bunch of additives, a bunch of sugar, preservatives, colors, anything like that. If you're going to be drinking, drink clean.
That's it, and that's all.
So what benefits do we have with coconut milk now that we know what it is?
I mean, nutrition-wise, I think it's important to say that coconut is not light on the fat. And
It's a dense food.
it's a dense.
I think of it like avocado. Like they're
Yes.
the healthy fats. Like very
Right.
thick, creamy.
where
But good
it's-
for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like for me, I know I'm not afraid of fat. Obviously I don't do trans fats and
Healthy
that. I
fats.
do
Right.
healthy fats like almonds, walnuts, coconut, avocado, avocado oil, olive oil. Yeah. Where this one is particularly high, and what makes this like a superfood kinda is the fact that it has the MCTs.
So MCTs, for anybody that doesn't know, are medium chain triglycerides. And triglyceride is really just a fancy name for fat, but the good kind. So there are different molecular chains of fat. So there are long chain triglycerides, there are medium chain triglycerides, which we're talking about here. And the reason that your body likes those more is because they are quick bioavailable energy. So when you're drinking or eating an MCT oil or MCT fat, that's always going to go straight into energy, and your body's going to process it a lot faster and a lot smoother, as opposed to something like a long chain triglyceride where your body's going to take so long to break it down that it's going to hang on to that sometimes. So again, this depends on, are there additives in your food? What types of food are you eating? What are you pairing it with? Are you eating fats with carbohydrates or fats with protein? Because all of that does matter in the grand scheme of things. However, when we're talking about MCTs in a vacuum, the important thing to know is that they are quite a healthy fat. They're a great fuel source. They're good for your brain. They're going to help with your digestion, your appetite, and actually your focus, because MCTs fuel your brain.
100%. And I think when people think of fats, I know in my family, people are always like, cholesterol. I started doing MCT oils back when bulletproof coffee. You guys remember when like
I still do bulletproof
I
coffee.
still do, not every day.
Yeah, the MCT oil.
Yeah.
The picnic creamer is my favorite.
Yes, we love that one. It's like, what is that? Coconut? Is coconut?
It's just grass-fed ghee and MCT oil.
Yes. Yeah. Well, then I still do it every morning. I didn't even know that had MCT oil in it. See, I'm healthy without even knowing people. But so MCTs for me was after I was like had Skylar and I was like breastfeeding and, you know, just for the energy source alone, and it kept me fuller longer and I wasn't like snacking as much because I think it does have a quality where, you know, if you eat avocado, you feel like it's nutrient dense. So you're like, ooh, I feel fed, I feel satiated. And I think that's what's really good about it. But some of the benefits,
other than lowering cholesterol and providing fuel for your brain and aiding in digestion.
Yes, diabetes. It helps. MCTs help lower blood sugar levels, which I also think
they help stabilize them, right?
Yeah.
So if you've got some MCTs in your system, you've got some solid healthy fats in your system, then when you do eat sugar, then it's going to limit the effect of sugar, which we'll get into in a second, I think.
Yes. And one more thing, inflammation. MCTs have been found to lessen inflammation in the gut, especially for this particular study, it was ulcer size. They saw an ulcer shrink in size. I've never had an ulcer, but I've had friends who've had ulcers, and they don't look fun.
No, not at all. We're talking about lots of nutrients and electrolytes: folate, manganese, potassium, copper, selenium, iron, vitamin C, fiber, all of that you're going to find in coconut milk. So again, if you're going to be drinking, let's balance it out.
Yes, but balance it out not with sugar. So basically in this drink, we have a little bit of agave in it, but I don't think we've ever gone in on the difference between why we use agave and why we don't use high fructose corn syrup and or plain white sugar.
So a lot of this is coming down to GI index. And a GI index, do you know what a GI index is?
Nope, not.
Nope, that's okay. We're going to break it down here. So a GI index is...
I love how you guys say that you're not experts, and you guys are just like rattling off like I'm sitting in a nutrition lecture right now.
Can we certify you?
Yeah.
Is this ours?
Yeah.
I, too, will now be called Dr.
Yes,
Cass.
I was going to say, I will
Dr.
dub
Sherionne.
you. Yeah.
That's not
Doctor.
true. We didn't put in the school hours. It doesn't count. Doctor like Dr. Dre, you know?
Oh.
A GI index is actually how much your body is going to, how much your glucose levels are going to spike after you drink a sugar. So glucose is also a readily available form of energy, and it's actually kind of one of your body's favorite form of energy. So what happens when you have any kind of sugar, your body, shoots out insulin to help break it down and provide you with energy. You have too much sugar, you produce too much insulin, you run into some problems, and that eventually leads to type 2 diabetes. So when we're talking about eating sugars and kind of white carbs in general, we want to look at how much those carbs and those sugars are raising your blood sugar, your blood glucose. So there are not all sugars are created equal. You don't want to do too much sugar of any kind. So, using something that is more natural, like honey, agave, etc., is going to be better for you because it comes from the earth. It's minimally processed, if at all. However, too much sugar is too much sugar at the end of the day. Too much of anything can be a bad thing. That said, agave, out of all the sweeteners, has the lowest GI index, meaning that it is going to spike your blood sugar the least. The other nice thing about agave is that it is a lot denser and a lot sweeter than regular sugar. So if you're working with a cocktail recipe, or any recipe really, but if you're working with a margarita recipe and it calls for half an ounce or half a tablespoon of agave, or half an ounce of agave, or however much you're making, you can, of sugar, you can half that with agave. So you don't need as much of it to accomplish the same sweetness and the same effect.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I think when you're working with simple sugars, you tend to need more of it as time goes on. And I think when you're working with sugars with a lower GI, you tend to use less of it and it's so interesting, the palate, like the tongue, the more sugar you feed the tongue, the more sugar you crave. The less sugar you feed it, the more whole foods you crave. I think the most interesting thing about plain regular white sugar was a few things. The inflammation and the direct correlation to heart disease, and that it raises your blood sugar, which is like an obvious, because you see kids, you give kid some plain, I don't know, M&Ms.
Pixie stick. Remember those?
Yes.
Those still things?
Just straight sugar.
Oh, but God, those were good back in the day, though.
Just straight sugar and dye.
I know, but I can't even look at that stuff like honestly, it makes my teeth hurt if I even look at it. But you give a kid that, and you give a kid like a banana, right, which is like all sugar too, and you see the difference, and it's the same for adults. When we're all just big kids, you see someone on sugar, you're like, at the bar, oh, they're just higher than high, because tequila is a high, but it's a natural high. But then you see them off with their simple syrups and everything else in there, you're like, wow. Another thing that I thought really blew my mind, a study out of Harvard from Professor Hugh, was that your liver metabolizes sugar the same way as alcohol. And I thought, damn. Because I feel like my liver's already working hard enough with my healthy alcohol, but why give it more to work harder on?
Right.
Absolutely. So if we're going to make a cocktail, we're going to make it smart. We're going to add some benefits like electrolytes, some nutrients. We would like to keep it as natural as possible. We'd love to use organic here, but do what you can. It's all about making the improvements when you can. Rome wasn't built in a day. A lot of our tequila knowledge, our cocktail knowledge, has come from years of making substitutions, making swaps, and just making things better and better.
100%. And back to Rome wasn't built in a day. How do we know Rome wasn't built in a day? People, I have things that I need to say about Rome and the pyramids. How do we know they weren't built in a day?
Here we go. Here we
you
go.
gonna do
FBI Sherry is
aliens
coming
right
out.
I'm going straight for the aliens. That's another episode. We'll do aliens and tequila another day.
Man.
I missed this, Sherry.
But you know who I think like these days more and more is showing some alien tendencies? Kanye West is getting a little funky.
You know, he's a favorite here.
Kim and Kanye keep coming up here at Tequila Talks, not really on purpose, but they're everywhere. They're everywhere. And I will say that I haven't picked a side. I'm not Team Kim, I'm Team Kanye. I'm just sort of observing from a bird's eye view and just sort of noticing some of the oddities that have come about from this weird, would we call it a love triangle maybe? I don't know.
Well, no, there has to be everyone in love. I think
Right.
Kim's not in love with Kanye anymore.
That's
but
true.
He's like a stalker at this point.
So, well, talking about stalkers, one of the reasons why this is a big deal right now is because Pete just got Kim tattooed on his chest. And he did. And you know what? We're going to get into that in a second. But you know what I find more intriguing and what I find more interesting here is that Pete took a picture in bed with Kim, tattoo out, and Kanye got this photo. And I don't know, was it Pete that sent it to him, or was it Kim that...
They were in a text chain, and Pete was basically telling Kanye, hey, bro, calm down. Stop.
Wait, I think I saw that.
Yeah, he's like, stop talking crap about me in the press, blah, 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 blah. And Kanye was like, where are you at right now? And Pete responded, in bed with your wife.
Is it a portrait or...
He's like a selfie.
No.
No,
It
this
says
is
Tattoo. It says Kim. It's
Kim.
her- okay.
It's Kim, and he's tatted. He's pretty
very
tatted.
I was gonna say,
tatted,
it's like Where's Waldo?
But,
like, it's-
but some people, I mean, I've been a bunch of places, and I will, I'll talk to somebody, and they'll say, oh, yeah, I'm going to go get a tattoo later. And I'll go, of what? I don't know.
Yeah.
And some people
People are more
just
casual
Some
with
people
their
are more
tattoos,
casual
yeah.
with tattoos. Some people like the overall effect of a tattoo as opposed to the specific design or intention of one tattoo. And I think that Pete might fall more in that category.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think I think I look at tattoos as like, if you love something and it needs to be on your body, do it. I love when people have stories about their tattoos, what they're about. I don't know. I find the art of it great, but it's still your body. I don't know if I'd ever put in a boy, even my husband, I wouldn't get his name tatted. Maybe when I'm like 70. I feel like when I'm 70.
Oh, show us your tattoo.
Show us your tattoo.
Is it on your butt?
Wait a
Let's
minute,
see.
people. LA has a tattoo of her husband after I just said I would never.
Hold on. Let me see
Let me
it.
just slowly rise it.
Is
Okay,
it-
it's a letter. It's not like it's full.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
but that's cute.
Yeah, it's
But
my,
you're
this is my
also-
one and only tattoo. And he has an L, and his is like the front of the arrow, and then with the L, and then I have the end of the arrow.
Oh,
We didn't
but
pick this. We like went to a tattoo artist. I'm like, I just want little G, and he was like, nah.
Let me put a little
Like,
spin on it.
let me do this up for you
Spice
guys.
it
Well,
up.
because if he's
Like this margarita.
Right.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Because if he's
Mine's
in-
almost gone.
I was
by
gonna
the way.
say,
I know.
not
Well,
that
you know
girl.
what? It's delicious.
Yes.
And mine is not prohibited by the excessive spice that you ladies elected for.
We got to sip our slow. We're spicy. Wait, okay, so You have a tattoo? I know you're tattooed.
I have tattoos, but none of them have
name?
my husband's name on them. My husband has tattoos with our daughter's initial and our daughter's name in 2 different places. Again, if it's your kid, that's forever.
Right.
So I kind of think that if it is your kid, that's just free reign, free territory.
Yeah, right.
But when you get into a relationship, there's an element where I think it might be kind of a jinx.
Wow. My God, let me just knock
Well,
out everything.
G can also be, it's dare to be active can also be G for go,
Right.
you know?
Oh, yeah. Ready, set, go. Look.
Yeah.
You and your husband are so fine.
Yeah.
But G is different than Grant on your chest,
yes,
right?
yes.
Like, you get one of those big eagles, like Grant under your boobs. You know,
Right.
like, Rihanna's pregnant right now, and she has, like, one of those. I always thought to myself when she got that big, like, I don't know, it's like an eagle or something. Like, what happens when you get pregnant? But now that I see her pregnant, I'm like, damn, okay.
It becomes an old eagle.
An ancient Egyptian eagle.
Back to the aliens.
We're gonna do. Look, I'm gonna look.
I'm
People
here
are
to take
interested.
you guys off topic, and then we'll circle back around. Yeah, that's what I'm here for today.
We're gonna get into that later. But wait. Okay,
We never have set topics. We just have ideas.
We just have ideas.
have
And the more
ideas.
tequila you drink, the better the ideas. Which is why one day I'm gonna do an alien. Look, I have thoughts about the aliens. But
I'm listening in on that one.
okay, so we have Pete getting a tat and him telling. Do you think it's appropriate if you have kids with a man and your new boyfriend is basically telling your ex-husband, "I'm in bed with your wife"?
See, to me, that's the thing that's more inappropriate. I don't care. It's your body. You can tattoo whatever the hell you want on it. Because even if you break up in a relationship, you can always say, well, I want to honor where I was at in my life or how that relationship served me at that time. And that's, again, my hippieisms, because that's how I believe that relationships and friendships and whatever, jobs, etc., everything serves a purpose at that time. So you never want to turn around and say, screw that, right? I believe in honoring where you were. It was an important part of your life. So I'm not really anti-tattooing a full relationship name. I don't think I personally would do it. But if people want to do that to their body, that's their choice. It's their body. However, the one part about this story that really caught my attention is that's a bold move to send a photo to someone's ex in bed, shirtless. Haven't seen the photo, so I don't know. Has no one seen the photo?
Yeah, they ran it. He's just in bed with like the peace sign, laying down, and like a selfie.
Can we see Kim?
No,
No.
but I'm pretty sure Kanye would know the pillows. I mean, right? Like he's like, that's my pillow.
Yeah.
That's my side of the bed. You're on my side of the bed.
But what did he? I'll be honest. I haven't really followed. I've seen like the headlines. I haven't really dug into this story. But what pushed him to that? Because I know Kanye's been all up in the news these days.
Kanye's been just disparaging Kim, and he made a video depicting Pete being buried and killing him, and he's just exactly. I know. I feel like. Oh, I should be able to say what I want to say. He's responding in the way he wanted to respond, and he leaked the text. He put him out himself, like, this is what I sent to him. So I do think it's messy, only because she has so many kids, and the internet is forever. You cannot get anything taken down off the internet, people. It is forever. One day, your kids get older. I just wouldn't be happy as a mom if my daughter saw me acting or someone I was dating disrespecting my dad, because that's still their dad. And they, you know what I mean? They're going to, like, if Pete wants a chance, it's just, you just take it and work quietly with it, because I feel like that's their father and you're still disrespecting their father.
But does he truly want to chant? Like, do we see this as being I see this as a phase, and like they're just.
Yeah, the first person you date after you get married is usually not the person you end up with. That's just odds and statistics, people.
Well, but you never know. It does happen. I think that Kanye has every right to want to be back with Kim. I mean, we don't know what's going on in these people's heads. You look at someone else in your life that has a relationship, and there are sometimes that you're at the bar and you're catching up with people, or a restaurant, doesn't have to necessarily be a bar, but you're catching up with someone and they're like, yeah, got back with my ex. I know I shouldn't. I just really miss him, and we have that thing, and I think it's going to work this time. And it depends on the past experience, but sometimes you support that. Other times you don't, which is okay. But as I've said before, you never know what's going on behind closed doors in relationships.
No. 100%, because I do remember when all the way up to this, Kim was just posting like everything was fine. And then all of a sudden they were divorcing. And I feel like everyone was like, what? She was just posting him. And it's like, Instagram's not real life. It's not real.
He might have had a breaking point. He might have had something where he snapped. And we're never going to know as public as their situation is, as public as their divorce is. We're never going to know what actually goes on between the two of them. They obviously loved each other at some point because they have 4 kids together. And you don't just have 4 kids with someone that's not important to you or someone that you don't see building a life with. And once you have a kid with someone, you're attached forever.
Yeah. So choose wisely, people. Choose wisely. But I want to get into, Kim made a comment that set the internet on fire about women specifically. The comment basically was, Kim was asked, she's on the cover of Variety magazine, which is an entertainment magazine, and she was asked as a billionaire businesswoman what one piece of advice she would give to women. And her quote is, get your fucking ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days. You have to surround yourself with people that want to work. Have a good work environment where everyone loves what they do because you have one life. No toxic work environment. Show up and do the work.
So what would we call the way that she became famous? Was that work? Was that a different kind of work? Does everybody remember what that was?
She was on her ass. That's why I took particularly, like, I took the comment for face value, and I was like, what, girl, first time I saw you, you was like on your booty. So get off my ass and work? It's like,
No. You were on your ass.
you were on your
Your
ass.
ass was working.
And I thought Bethany Frankel, who's a housewife from New York, who I love, she had a great point because she also sold her Skinny Girl Margarita for $400 million to Jim Beam. She's a businesswoman too, and she's like, she said something great where she said, not everyone grows up in Beverly Hills with a powerful lawyer daddy and a mother who is a genius. And you had every available resource to you to be successful, and you took something very tragic that probably happened to you with the leaking of a sex tape, and you capitalized on it with every resource. And I thought, that's probably the best response. Wasn't my initial response, but I'm gonna go with Bethany's response.
I would say that I would agree with that. I do believe that when stuff happens, you only get the hand that you're dealt in life, and you can't control what is given to you or what happens to you. So maybe in fairness to Kim, she was working with the hand that she was dealt. I don't think that she personally leaked the sex tape. I mean, I don't know, I could be wrong. But she was working with what she had. Now, that said, to criticize other people not knowing a blanket statement, not knowing what people's situations or circumstances are, that is a bold statement, and it is probably leading a lot of people to swap out their Team Kim shirts for Team Kanye.
Yeah.
For saying like nobody wants to work these days. I wonder what type of situation she was in where she felt like nobody wants to work. Her team around her is doing everything for her. That's an interesting part of that statement. It's like nobody wants to work.
Maybe she's talking about Kanye.
Kanye's work. He's worth $1 billion too.
I was gonna say, like, but he makes his.
I think the thing that
Maybe
struck
it's a warped dig. I don't know.
Well, I think the thing that struck me was how negative it was. The first thing I Googled what Oprah said when she was like, what one piece of advice? And Oprah was like, make sure you love what you do and your gut is your best friend. And I thought that's amazing advice.
Do you think that maybe she was trying to say it in an inspirational way? Like, yeah, you can do it. Get out there and fucking do it. But was she trying to say it, or was she being critical?
It's a video. And I think
she was like,
and Chris and I think Chloe, everyone on she was sitting next to her family, and Chris cut her eyes at her, Chloe glanced at her, Courtney just stared straight ahead like, what are you? And she was like, get off your fucking ass. And I thought, wow, I've never heard another woman say women are lazy. I feel like women are the least on their ass people.
Yeah.
We're busy.
We're fucking busy. Hello. It's like we're busy drinking tequila. Look at us.
And raising kids.
We have
stuff.
I just thought the
doing it
overall
all at the same time. We are doing it all at the same time.
Because life here at Team Tequila Talks, and hopefully everywhere, is about balance, which we talk about all the time. You should be able to get up and work, but you should also be able to have a margarita at the end of the day after you do said work, or whenever you work.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with a breakfast margarita after a night shift.
Totally. I just thought the overall tone of it was negative, and it was rich coming from her. And I thought, people have given you a lot of grace. We were on our asses buying Skims. I own Skims. Look, I think
You love Skims.
I love Skims. I try to convince everyone, you got to buy these Skims. Every birthday present's like a Skim. So I actually like Kim Kardashian. I think she's an excellent businesswoman.
They're great. Their family is great. they're great at the
Powerhouse.
business world. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I just think the overall tone of it was, if that was one thing to say, I thought it would be more motivating. That's all.
You can't extrapolate your life. You have to realize your life is so incredibly 1%. You can't generalize your life to other people's. You just can't.
No.
I wonder if she was having a bad day. Because maybe she...
That's what I'm saying. It seemed personal.
It did seem personal.
It did.
It seemed like she was talking to somebody specific.
She probably had her phone in her hand and got a horrible email, and right as they were about to say rolling, she went, motherfucker, and just, put the phone down, and it was fresh on the mind. It did seem like a personal burn, because she might be outspoken, but she's also kind of soft-spoken. I've seen her on talk shows. I don't follow the Kardashians heavily, but I have seen her on talk shows, and she's kind of subdued. She's not super loud or opinionated like us here. But, she just doesn't really seem like the type of person to out of nowhere go, screw you if you're not working. It just seems like something must have happened, or something personal must have happened.
Yeah, we'll give her grace. Here at Team Tequila Talks, we give grace.
We'll be forgiving.
Yeah. We try to see all sides.
Exactly.
You never know.
Overall, we're not a Kardashian bashing show.
Absolutely not. But talking about people getting back to work.
Yes.
Tom Brady.
See, this is a topic I like to talk about.
Dive on in, my friend.
Sports.
Dive on
Go in. What are your thoughts?
I love it. He is just in such a class of himself. Like, he can literally do whatever he wants to do. I was watching ESPN, and some guy was like, he was putting away the laundry one day, and he was like, this isn't for me. I'm not here yet. He's like, I need to go back and play football.
I'm not retired.
Yeah. He's like, I can't fold this laundry. It's not for me.
There's so many fun memes floating around. I saw one that said, Tom Brady was a stay-at-home dad for all of 2 weeks, and said, I'm out, get me back on the field.
Exactly, because no one can do what the stay-at-home moms do.
Exactly.
It's the hardest job in the world, for sure. Raising a kid is difficult.
Me and my girlfriend, when he retired, I was pretty shocked.
Yeah.
Just because I was like, he's still playing at a high level. It just didn't make any sense, and I thought maybe this is a familial decision. Maybe his wife was like, you know what, I need you more home. Our kids are getting older. They have football. They have baseball, and I respect that. But my girlfriend was like, there's no way. No way.
I said, I'll believe it when the trade deadline passes. Yeah. I'm not even going to give it until kickoff week next season. I will believe it when Tom Brady is not on the field by the time the playoffs roll around next season, because I don't believe it. We watched Brett Favre, and Brett Favre retired from the Packers, and then he played for the Jets and the Vikings, and then came back for one day and retired as a Packer. But he was not ready to go. We've seen it with Manning and going to the Broncos. And these sometimes
Michael Jordan came back. I mean,
I didn't ever believe that he was actually retired.
Yeah.
So when everybody announced that he was coming back to the Bucs, I didn't know what team he was going to end up with. I actually thought there was a chance he would go to the 49ers.
I saw some talk about that too. Just because his hometown.
I know.
It would have made sense. It would have that would have made sense as a retirement move, like a pre-retirement move. Yeah. But I absolutely was not surprised that he came back. Not even.
I felt like he would come. Not that he would come back, but I sensed that he was not happy with how it went down. How like somebody leaked it or whatever. Yeah. It wasn't on his terms. That's kind of a really big retirement bomb to not be on your terms. Yeah. He's going to want to do this how he wants to do it. Do the fanfare and all the things.
Do you think if he had won it all, that he would have been okay? Like a meal, like he would have had the whole satisfied meal. You know when you go to a steakhouse and you just have a great meal with great red wine and you're like so satisfied? Do you think he was like a little unsatisfied?
100%. I think he's, competitors at that phase, you want to win it all always, and he can, is the thing. He knows
you are an
can.
athlete, so you know that competitive vibe.
Oh yeah, you always want to win, but the crazy part is that he can.
He is the type of person that wants to go out on top.
Yeah.
And he knows that he can.
Exactly.
That's the thing. There's a big difference when you're talking about someone like Andrew Luck or that can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about a proven, tried and true, all-time greatest quarterback ever. If he comes back for a season, he absolutely could come back and win it all. This is not a far reach. This is not something that is impossible or something that is unattainable. He absolutely could have had a bit of a brain reset and gone, you know what? I did this once before. Last year, by the way. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to go out on top. I don't blame him for that.
Yeah.
Do you think it's okay? Giselle, he kept saying when he retired that he talked to his family, that his family needs him more and all these things. Do you think it's okay for a woman to date a man, especially an athlete, where they met them as athletes, they worked their whole lives to get to a high level, and Tom Brady is like the GOAT, right? So he's a heads and shoulder above. He'll go down as probably one of the greatest. Do you think it's okay for a woman to then say, now you need to quit?
Ooh. I think that circumstances change because maybe, maybe he has changed. Good one. Saw that. That's on camera, by the way. If you are listening and you did not see that, please go onto YouTube right now and, watch Sherry
So what
dumping
happens
stuff
when
on
you
her.
finish your glass?
YouTube.com/Team Tequila Talk.
I don't think we actually own that exact handle yet. We got to get on that. It's one of those auto-generated ones. We'll work on that. Anyway, so I think that when your circumstances change, sometimes you as a person change. So as a wife or a husband or a partner in general, you're looking at your partner and saying, I could see how this is really draining you now and it didn't before. Or I could see how you are wanting to go out on top and you've now accomplished these things that you wanted to accomplish. Those boxes are checked. Or this industry has changed and now here's how it's affecting you. It's impossible to go back in a time machine and say all of the circumstances are going to remain exactly the same for our entire relationship. Circumstances change, so you have a right to change your mind. That said, you get a say. You don't get the end-all, be-all vote.
Yeah. What do you think? We're all married to actors, right? But if our husbands were athletes, I don't think any of us would say now it's time for you to retire. I think none of us here would want to. I mean, I know for me, I would never want to take away what you've worked, your life's work.
The athlete world was my world before Grant. Like this world is very new, not new at this point, but like this world is different to me. But the athlete world is a very specific type of way too, and it is like your whole life. And I think the part that could make you say you need to retire is from a health and safety standpoint. Like if you're constantly getting injured or big injuries or things like that, then that could be a reason to be like, all right, this is, or you start showing signs of CTE because that's a very real thing. If you start, having that conversation, I think that's a place where you can be like, for our family, I think you need to stop. But Tom Brady is invincible.
I mean, he seems like it.
Yeah. If he's healthy, if he doesn't scramble, like he doesn't get hit. He barely, he got sacked a little bit more. But he
That's
doesn't
more of
really
an
care.
O-line problem
Right,
now.
exactly. So it's like, if you can stay healthy and you can still do it,
Yeah, I know. Me and my husband had the conversation. He was just like, wow, why would someone want to take away his first love or the thing that he worked? Remember, he wasn't drafted high. He had to work his way up. No one cared. He was like skinny and tall, no real skill level, they said. So I don't know. It's just interesting when any athlete retires and then unretires. It's like, oh, they're going through the psychological.
there has to be so much more to the retire. Maybe a business deal didn't go through. There's probably so many other factors, or like they got, I don't really know what personnel they got before like the trade and everything, but maybe they got somebody that he really wanted them to get or something,
Well, but at the end of the day, it's his life, and maybe he woke up one day and said, you know what? I'm doing it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right.
More power
Well,
to you.
on that note, cheers, guys. Thanks for joining us at Team Tequila
Cheers.
Talks. Dr. Ellie
Yay.
Thoma-Gustin. Make sure you check out Dare to Be Active. And
Wait, is it daretobeactive.com?
It's an app. It's a Dare to Be Active app.
Dare to Be Active.
DareToBeActive.com, but that's the merch.
Got it. Oh, her so you have merchandise.
merch.
why aren't you wearing the merch right now?
No.
Oh, man.
Oh, come on, LA. Come on, doctor. Come on, doctor. So Dare to Be Active app in the Apple Store, and also daretobeactive.com for gear.
There we go.
Yay.
Thanks for having me. I missed you guys.
Thanks for joining us. It's so good to see
I
you.
know.
I'm going to need
Happy
a refill.
reunited.
On the bottom.